Welcome to Guelph Fight Wrestler. I'm Andrew Sennedra, and this is Mr. Ass Rock, Captain Witchfingers. And today we're talking about AEW's Revolution, Sting's last match. We're going to be diving into this right from the main event, going towards the front of the pay-per-view, because that seems to make the most sense. So the first match we're talking about is, Sting's sort of big-time retirement match. Was it the best retirement match of all time? I don't know. What do you think? Was it?
It was really good. I like how they give like homage to the Stinger's entrance.
Oh, yeah.
Give him a nice a highlight reel, and then all the different Stingers
his sons, right?
To show up kind of thing, like with like the vintage Sting, the Wolf Pack, and then like the
Surfer Sting,
the classic black and white. And then it's funny, all the Stingers like beating him up. I'm like, oh, Sting's like he's a dirty bastard. He's like cheating like crazy.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid match. I think, like especially for retirement matches, because we've had Ric Flair's retirement match, which I heard was like horrible. Then you got like Undertaker's, like him and Goldberg were killing each other. Shawn Michaels. So we've had all these like dud retirement matches. And this one seemed to be like set up perfectly for the way everybody wanted it, And we had some great starts, or great spots, but a great start with Darby, doing his classic missile attack on the Young Bucks. You had some exploding tables. Like, at least they exploded when they landed on them, not actually set with dynamite charges or anything. There was quite a few big moments there. Darby's death-defying glass spot well off the top there that I predicted everyone was going to be complaining about. It's like, oh, shut up. If he does it, he does it. Whatever. Fuck off. But, it ended up being a really solid match. Sting had a lot of his own time, involved in it, though. It wasn't like, Darby was doing a lot that he got put out through the match. So Sting had a lot of, work to do with the Young Bucks in that match.
Yeah, for sure. As you mentioned, like this is a great match for like what is he, like 75 years old kind of thing? It's like ancient.
65. But
he's still going out there doing all these crazy moves, going through these tables. What I thought was funny was like he's like selling all these like moves. Like this is a Stinger, man. Stingers don't sell for nobody. He goes to two tables. He gets right back up.
He went through the glass. It was funny. Like, remember when it was funny when Ric Flair came? He's like, no. I was like, what the hell's Ric Flair doing? And then they super kick his old ass.
Oh yeah, they killed that old man.
Like, who gives a shit? Super kick you, old haggard bastard. And they super kick Steamboat as well.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what happens. I guess they'll relinquish the belt with retirement, but we'll see.
Yeah, I've already heard there was a tournament coming up.
Okay, cool.
The tag titles. Then the next match is the title match. Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, and Hangman Page. Pretty solid match. One thing we were pointing out as the match went along is Joe didn't really seem to do too much. He was kind of like getting beat up and for a lot of the point, and didn't really do too much besides like take the ending. It seemed like the match was mostly between Swerve and Hangman and them doing stuff. So that's kind of like what I took notice of, that they had the best moments in the match. Like, the only thing Joe had was like his big melon headbutts.
I thought it was funny where like Joe was like on the turnbuckle. Everybody keep trying to powerbomb him, and he always like punch the guys off, and then he pulls up his pants. Another guy tries to grab him, punch him off, and then he pulls up his pants too.
He's always like getting caught. He's got to pull up my drawers a bit. My drawers keep falling off. But like I said, I think Swerve owned most of the match. Hangman did some funny things, like dragging Paul Turner out of the ring. Like, his head bounced off the mat, and then he beats the shit out of Rensburg. He's like, who does that? He just grabs the ref. I'm like, how do you not get suspended or DQ'd for that? He's like beating the hell out of him. It was like, oh man, Hangman's going crazy. He's doing a full heel turn.
I like this cowboy. He's hilarious. He's like going full lunatic maniac. He gives no shit. He's got to make sure that Swerve don't win the title. It seems to me like he tapped on purpose. He's like, if I tap, Swerve can't win. He's like, I'm tapping.
Yeah, we mentioned that it seemed like it's almost like this character is more worried about Swerve, sabotaging Swerve's ability to win the title than Hangman winning himself. I was like, well, that's a very original storyline that you wouldn't really get. Someone sabotaging their own career to sabotage like their chances. I was like, oh, that's pretty brazen and ballsy, but and Swerve pulled out some new things that I liked. usually we don't really see too many wrestlers pull out. But he had a nice sky twister press. He did the buckshot turnbuckle lariat, off of that. So I was like, oh, he added some new things in there, which is always good to, so we don't get repetitive, old school matches. Let's just rinse, wash, and repeat.
And it seems like Joe's got plot armor, where, with his big head, the buckshot lariat has no effect because his head got like so much armor and so much weight, has no effect. You can ding him all day, he's like fine.
The next match is the match of the night that this guy put together, Mr. Don Beefcake Callis. Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita was absolutely a great match. Ospreay, sent another one out of the ballpark again. Absolutely crushing it. Fucking hard hitting, high speed, lots of good moments within this match. You had the Konosuke landing like great German suplexes. I called it the headlock Spanish fly. It's supposed to be the Spanish fly, but they kind of turned it midair and it looked like it was like a headlock version of it. You had the classic Will Ospreay kicks, the hook kick, the cheeky Nando in the corner. He was doing everything. It was just like absolutely, we had the elements of so many different things all brought into this. And I think it really came together well. You had like strong style with the forearm strikes. We had a lot of speed, a lot of power moves, striking, things like that. Huge Oz cutter that Konosuke turned into a Blue Thunder Bomb, which was awesome. So many cool, unique counters that these guys pulled off. It was just incredible.
I love like the high impact. Usually like when you hit people, they go slow. But when these guys they hit, they go like super fast. It's like they're trying to kill each other. And looks like Ospreay gave him like rigor with like a spinning forearm. The guy was like frozen, like dying.
Yeah, that one part where where the ref was trying to get him, and he was like he crinkled his knuckles.
And then man, that finisher combo at the end, Ospreay, like the Tiger Driver 98 or whatever, and to the hidden blade. I'm like, oh man, he's like dead. How can he get back up?
Yeah. There was that one kick-ass phenomenal sequence that was just like boom, boom, one after another. I called it the Takeshita Driver. Really like caught him, and then it's kind of like Strong Zero, I think. Yeah, it kind of looks like Strong Zero.
Yeah.
And then into a wheelbarrow German, that wheelbarrow German that Konosuke does, and then Ospreay like bounces out and then flies and does a hidden blade. It was so hard to like comprehend it because it moves so fast. I was like, holy crap, these guys are just absolutely killer. Once again, Will Ospreay is involved in my opinion, that other individual's best match. Like I said about Shota Umino, Yota Tsuji, Konosuke Takeshita, their best matches have all been counterpart Will Ospreay.
Yeah, I think that this match that they got him up off our feet, and then we're excited, we're really into it,
Yeah, it was easily the best match tonight. Thanks to Don Callis, everyone was booing when he put it together. The next match was for the international title, Roderick Strong versus Orange Cassidy. I was looking forward to this because I wanted to see Roderick Strong in a longer match. He hasn't really been able to have too much of that, so we get to showcase a bit more of that. Definitely like the most backbreakers I've ever seen. I guess that's why they call him the Messiah of the backbreaker. He had a good rib breaker in there on Orange. He was really taking it to him. The no-sell, what's that called? Stun Dog Millionaire. Into a backbreaker. He just like takes it and then pops him up. And I was like, oh man, it was a pretty good match, and I'm glad that Roderick won clean, essentially.
Yeah, for sure. I think Orange Cassidy, I don't know if it's like cell job, but like look like that turnbuckle looked like it actually like killed him. So like really good cell job on him, or he's like actually dying from like that, his back breaking on that.
Oh yeah, well that kind of reminds me of the thing that Ospreay took on the turnbuckle.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty nasty. The brainbuster turnbuckle spot by Takeshita. Forgot to mention that cool ass part.
Yeah, his ass was burning.
His ass is burning. Orange's ass is burning. But yeah, I thought was really a pretty strong match. Not too bad. But I'm glad Roderick Strong won without any of that interference. It's just too predictable.
Yeah.
Heels always interfering. I thought it was good that Roderick Strong won that way without Undisputed Kingdom coming in and interfering.
Proves that heels are not useless. They don't need help.
Yeah. The next match is this big 8-way scramble, which was kind of random. I guess it was just a way to get Jericho into the pay-per-view. But yeah, Chris Jericho, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Wardlow, Will Hobbs, Dante Martin, some other guys. I think Magnus, yeah, the CML Magnus guy. Am I missing somebody? I think
that's pretty much it.
Well, yeah, whatever. But it was mostly like a huge slugfest. I would have preferred if it was just like the 4 big guys that kind of started off the match: Wardlow, Archer, Hobbs, and Cage, instead of having the other 4. You know, I didn't really. They added a little bit, but it wasn't really too important into the match. I felt. I guess they wanted maybe Wardlow to beat somebody else, like Dante Martin. So, but Archer had some moments in the match, showing his great balance and going crazy on guys like he always does. It was kind of funny though. It was like he was no selling because he was like taking a shot. He's like rolls out of the ring, takes a shot. Well, Dante Martin had some moments in there as well, but he kind of bunged up on a move I think in there. So that didn't really go over too well. Wardlow, we kind of predicted he was going to win. He had like a German suplex fest. Pretty hard slamming guys around. Hobbs was, like you said, was mostly going after Jericho, I think.
Yeah, giving them the world's most dangerous slam on the outside. Jericho's like backspreading. I love that the beginning of the Meat Madness. All these 4 like beefcakes going at it. Like all like that. They're trying to beat each other up, and nobody's going down. They're all like big beefy men.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The match might have been better if it was just those 4. Because then it separated off into the other 4 and pairings of 2 guys each at each time. And it just kind of lost momentum, I thought, that way. Having to pair everybody off and sequence things up. So it didn't really turn out that well, in my opinion. But anyways, moving on to the next match, what did we have? I think it was like some bad tag team match. I think I went down to cook food for FTR versus the BCC. Well, it looks like we didn't have anything for FTR and BCC. That's kind of says what our thoughts were on it.
No notes.
Eddie Kingston versus Daniel. Wait, what was his name again? Yeah, Bryan Danielson was an okay match. It was mostly Kingston, but again, Danielson brought that templated match. Configuration that he does. It's like, I'm going to kick you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to try to, submit here and do this move here, and that fucking stupid knee that I don't like. It's a horrible name. So it was an okay match, but it was kind of, we saw Kingston and Danielson once before, so you kind of saw them already.
Yeah, it's the usual, they're exchanging, they're no selling, they're beating each other up because they're like both hard dudes kind of thing. The one thing that surprised me was like the finish, the powerbomb at the end. I thought I'd get something more, but then
you just powerbomb Danielson and won.
That's it.
Everybody takes powerbombs. Danielson's like, I can't kick out of this. I'm done. And the first match on the card opener, which surprised us, was Daniel Garcia versus Christian Cage. Usually you start off the pay-per-views with something high octane or really interesting. But that match, it didn't have too much in it either. I think like the best parts were maybe like Nick Wayne trying to interfere, stuff like that. But so that's kind of what we had. Half the pay-per-view was really good. We had some really solid matches. So on our grading scale of good, great, awesome, amazing, spectacular, and fantastic, where do you got it?
I have to say, it's a slow start, but at a high finish, I'd bump it up to amazing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I was getting somewhere around there. I don't know. I'm gonna say Will Ospreay and Takeshita made it amazing, because that match was just so dynamic and could be potentially be a match of the year. So, like we said, as it grew, it got better with the 8-way, Roderick versus Orange, and then Ospreay and Takeshita shot it up. And
cannon.
Yeah, and the title match was pretty solid, so that gave it another boost. And Sting and Darby versus the Young Bucks was another solid, really good match and a great way to go out for Sting. So that really elevated it to another way. So we both got amazing on Revolution, which could have started off as like maybe not even graded or rated. I remember we were both kind of like falling asleep after the first couple matches. You saw me yawning. I was like. But anyways, that's our thoughts on Revolution and Sting's farewell match, which was really solid, much better than his counterpart Undertaker dropping each other on their heads. We did a video on that.
Check it out.
But let us know what you thought of Revolution and Sting's last match in the comments below. Until next time, folks, how about some heavy wrestling?